going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new tactic, and today it is going to be the maxed out 4-2-3-1. You love the 4-3-3, and today we've improved it and translated to a 4-2-3-1. I would like to say this tactic is an absolute joke, by the way. A 96% win rate, over 4 goals a game, and it is so aggressive. Press, press, press. Maxed out pressing all the way to the top. If you do enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And once again, if you do enjoy rebuilds, we've got them covered now as well. The second channel is in the description, where we post a rebuild one every 2 days. So do come over, get involved. Let's go over and break down the results to this amazing maxed out 4-2-3-1. The first test, and used with the default tactic to clarify, is not the most amount of goals we scored with this, but still picked up some pretty impressive results. Getting to the semi-finals of the Champions League, winning the Austrian FA Cup 4-0 against SK Rapid, a very decent team over there. The Austrian Premier Division, well, we are going to go completely invincible. It's technically 100% win rate, but I don't really like to label it as that all the time, because obviously we are a very, very strong team. But overall, I mean, it's ridiculous. The gameplay was phenomenal. I'm going to show you a ton of highlights as well today, because what you're going to see is one of the most aggressive systems you will ever see in Football Manager. Scoring over 120 goals, most shots, the fewest shots against. Possession actually quite competitive, which is surprising because we were very much get the ball, run, 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 score, score, score sort of vibe team. So that's very surprising, actually. This isn't. Obviously, we're going to be dribbling a lot with the ball, the fewest conceded and the most clean sheets. It was so fun to play in a league like this, and also relevant. You got Verstappen on the thumbnail, Red Bull, RB Salzburg, you got to link them in somehow. And what I will say is the data hub, 4.03 goals per game. This is not the best set of stats either, to clarify. 0.5 conceded, over 25 shots, and 87.99. In fact, you know what? I'm going to be generous. I'm going to give myself an 88%. It's 0.1. And attacker win ratio just shy of 79% as well. So for a first season, using the default tactic, that's actually a very, very good season. Now, I went over and tested with Liverpool with a slightly more attacking version of the tactic, which again, if you are going to be going over to that Patreon, you get all 3 of these tactics in one simple download. If not, you can copy and click for click. So we are going to go over to the attacking tactic, tested with Liverpool, where we're in that mix for the title with City and Arsenal. Let's go and have a look. And as you can see, we actually had a stellar perfect season. We're going to lift the Carabao Cup 4-0 over Luton, the FA Cup 4-0 over Tottenham, the Champions League 3-0 over Inter Milan, the Friendly Cup 9-1, and the Premier League we're going to win incredibly convincingly. That is going to be 5 trophies in one season, and the Premier League, beautiful. 35 wins, 3 draws. Again, it is a 4-2-3-1 with a strong team in the Premier League. But Man City and Arsenal, I mean, Arsenal not really competing. City did to an extent, but we were absolutely relentless. 165 goals, nearly 1,000 shots. Fewest shots against, the most dribbles, the fewest conceded, and the most clean sheets. The only thing we were actually not that impressive in is possession, but again, it is not a possession-based tactic. But everything else is completely in our favour. You're going to take them stats, you're going to take these stats as well from the data hub, 4.3 goals a game, 0.39 conceded, over 25 shots, a great pass completion. So you take them stats, you take 5 trophies, and you take the Premier League stats. I'm going to say it. It's a flawless season. Of course, we also test with an underdog team, which is going to be Go Ahead Eagles in the Dutch League for me today with the defensive version of this tactic. And we are going to lift the Dutch Cup 5-1 over Feyenoord, showing how good we are directly against some of the big boys in the league. And even in that league, we were absolutely remarkable. 29 wins, 4 draws, and 1 loss. So definitely not flawless, I would like to say that. But the stats, again, goals scored, going to be in our favour. Most shots in our favour. Fewer shots against, of course, going to us. And again, the possession is going to be a similar story, down in 7th place. But I mean, it's a tactic that really does have a very good defensive record considering how aggressive we are. But when we get the ball, guys, you're going to see in the highlights literally any second how relentless we are at attacking, which is why you're getting these sort of stats. I am absolutely thrilled to bring you this maxed out 4-2-3-1, and I'm actually sort of debating what team we go and watch. I think it's going to have to be Liverpool. So the FA Cup final against Tottenham, a 4-0 game, and Trent is going to find a great pass through there into Szoboszlai to make it 1-0 inside of 20 minutes. Robertson then picks up the ball down the left-hand side, again being so aggressive, and McAllister not afraid to have a strike at goal, with Luis Diaz driving at the back line, winning at the back there, McAllister, Robertson, a ball in into Darwizzi to make it 3-0 in the 86th minute, and time for one more goal. Darwin Núñez is going to find Mo Salah, who goes alone. elegance. A game with a lot of goals is going to be the Austrian FA Cup semi-final, with Konate going through and finding Gorner there with a great goal inside of 10 minutes, and we then get a cluster of goals, and you can see here the play. We're not afraid to go a little bit more direct with the passing sometimes, passing into space, getting the job done, and look at the challenges coming in there from Oscar. And as for the goalkeeper there, you might want to do some training sessions, because that is absolutely diabolical for letting that go in. As Dedic is going to go through, again, overlapping wing-backs. We're not afraid to introduce us into the system, with Fernando finding Bidstrup, who's got acres of space to drive into, and we are making it look so easy. Again, it is a weaker team, but this is a good example to showcase you some of the goals you can look to score with a tactic like this, as we are going to get a goal from a set piece as well. Again, a reason why you should be getting them as well, and it's just relentless. Great pass and play, no mistakes being made, and we've still got time to see the 9th goal. Mental. And this is what happens when you play a powerhouse, even with a maxed out 4-2-3-1. We're going to play Ajax, and as you can see, we are go-ahead Eagles, and we get our first goal inside of 41 minutes. We are also away from home, which does play into things as well, but we were so good on winning that ball back high up the pitch, and you can see here, the pass and play is actually made to look so simple. Don't get me wrong, there's Stockers all on him. That's an incredible finish, but just winning the ball back with such prowess and such determination does result in a lot of goals going in, and as you can see, it's an easy 3-0 win. Now over to your favourite part of the video, that is going to be the tactic breakdown. If you are enjoying back home, a like would mean the absolute world, and definitely consider subscribing and turn on that wonderful notification bell. It's completely free and helps me out massively. But to go and make this tactic, you want to simply load in a gegenpress, and of course it is going to be your 4-2-3-1 DM AM wide. Now as for the mentality, we are going to be backing a positive mentality, and for the sake of being able to apply that close down more instruction, go into your out of possession and turn the trigger press balanced into the middle, so you can alter some of these roles. I would also like to take a second to say, if you want to get access to all of these wonderful perks, including access to all 3 of the tactics today, you get them on mobile, you get them on console, you also get ad-free viewing over on the Patreon. You're also going to get all of my rebuild files, one-on-one tactical help, I tweak your tactics and your saves for you, and also access to a big monthly giveaway. And we have got 10 copies of FM25 that we are going to be giving away. You can come over and check the Patreon in a link below, where you can be part of a team of 5,000 people. We've got a big live chat, and it's absolutely amazing. But let's go over and talk player roles then. So, for the goalkeeper, we are actually going to opt with a sweeper keeper, who is simply going to have one instruction added. That is going to be tackle harder. This is where it gets really interesting, because there is going to be a lot of instructions being used today. And as you can imagine, we are going to go with that wing back as we discussed. And he is simply going to be set to run wide, get further forwards as well. We're also going to have him selected to stay wide and also close down more, which is simply more often on that trigger press. Now, what I would like to say is that is literally replicated for the left back as well. So what we are going to do to make things not as confusing is go ahead and do exactly the same now, so we're not got loads of stuff going on at the same time. So the left back and the right back are exactly the same. We are then going to go with 2 ball playing defenders, who again are going to share the same instructions. That is going to be close down more and also tackle harder for the left hand side and also the right hand side of the pitch. Now again, if you haven't clocked on already, maxed out is a maxed out gegenpress system where every player is going to press. So it is part of a challenge tactic, but also it somehow does work in the game really, really well. So for me, that is just absolutely incredible. I can't lie about that. Going over to the midfield, we are going to double up on DMs to actually provide some form of sort of defensive stability and protect this back line. We are going to have 2 DMs who are both going to be set to close down more and both simply set to tackle harder. So again, nice and mirrored, exactly the same. So far, we've got a perfect mirror, meaning this side is exactly the same as this side. So it should be very simple to actually come in and copy if you are copying from back home. We are then going to go with 2 wingers who are both going to be on attack and both going to be set to cut inside, close down more, and also tackle harder, which is really good, by the way. I know I'm talking through this with some speed because they are the same player roles, but actually giving you some insight to why this is so good. The wingers actually out of possession are going to be really aggressive, putting in challenges, winning the ball back, but also they are going to be cutting in when they've got the ball, meaning the wing backs, which of course are running wide and getting further forwards, can create overlapping opportunities and really chip in with the assists, etc, etc. And in the middle, we are going to go with that AM, who is going to be set to attack, and he has got a lot of instructions, so let's talk through it. We are going to go with take more passing risks, we're going to go with cross more, dribble more, roam, move into the channels, and we are also going to go with the close down more and tackle harder. So I'm going to repeat that because there's a lot to take in. Take more risks, cross more, dribble more, roam, move into the channels, close down, and also tackle harder. This man will be an assist machine and one which will contribute beyond your imagination to your team. When is this attacking, you're going to be laughing all the way to the bank. Make sure you've got a very good AM and one with incredible passing range, and you're going to have a great time. The pressing forward, we honestly kept on default, and he is therefore going to be the only player that technically doesn't have that on, because he already has closed down more on, of course, by default, and tackle harder. So that is going to be every player apart from the goalkeeper, which you can't do, obviously, on close down more. A very aggressive way of playing football, which we're going to back up further in the team instructions. So again, the Gegenpress on positive. We're going to leave this to fairly wide. This time, we're going to shoot on sight. We are a very, very, very attacker-minded team, which is going to be backed up by running at the defense, being more expressive. The tempo, you already know, is going to be set to higher. The passing, slightly shorter. Pass into the space. Overlap left, overlap right, all while playing out from the back. It's tempo, tempo, tempo. In transition, counter press, more pressing, counter, distribute quickly, and simply take short goal kicks. And lastly, out of possession, we are going to go with the higher defensive line, get stuck in, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and we are going to go all the way down. Of course we're not. It's a maxed out tactic. It's going to go all the way up to much more often on that trigger press. And that's going to give you the default tactic that we tested with Salzburg, now to the better one with Liverpool, which of course scored around about 0.3 more goals every single game. So now over to the attacking tactic, again designed for a little bit of a better team, or maybe if you're in a mid-game and you're trying to score more and more goals, this is going to get that job done for you. So the goalkeeper does remain the same. The ball players remain exactly the same as well. The wing backs are both now on automatic and both share the same instructions, and a lot of them. Take more risks, cross more, run wide, get forward, stay wider, close down, tackle harder, and mark tighter. So they are going to be very, very in your face, full on, getting forwards and being an absolute nightmare to try and stop. They're going to put balls in, they're going to take on people, find width, and really help them wingers. We then go with a DM, who is going to be on support on close down more and tackle harder. We've got even more attacking in the midfield, with Volante now coming in on close down more and tackle harder, obviously on attack. The winger on the right and also on the left are both going to be Oz as attacking wingers. Cut inside, shoot more, close down, and tackle harder. The AM is going to remain exactly the same, and the pressing forward now has two instructions of shoot more often and roam from the position. So it's a lot of changes. Again, you can simply pause through this video and copy it click for click as well. So if you ever think I'm going too quickly, you can slow the video down or simply pause as we go through each player role, which is why I actually make the effort to do it and don't just say, do you know what, guys, go over and pay for the tactics all the time, because you can get them obviously in the video, but it does save you a bunch of time, I will be saying that. But of course, going over to the team instructions, all based off the attacking mentality, we're going to leave this as set to fairly wide. This stuff remains exactly the same because, to be honest, this is just how the tactic plays, so I'm not going to waste your time. It is literally identical, therefore there's no real need to talk about it again. The same is going to go for this tab as well. So once again, it is going to be your counter press, your counter, you distribute quickly, you take short goal kicks. Nice and simple, but this is where it does change a little bit, as we are going to have the high pressing line of engagement. We're going to max out that trigger press, prevent short goalkeeper distribution. We're going to get stuck in, step up more, and this time the much higher defensive line. So that's going to be the real big change in the team instructions. The bigger change is done actually in the player roles. But now, of course, time to go over and break down the defensive tactic. Perfect for those of you that are playing as a smaller team, or if you're playing as any team and you think, Josh, I need to calm the tactic down, I want to seal out a game. I've got you covered. And that is going to be your maxed out 4-2-3-1 def. Defensive tactic / underdog. The goalkeeper does remain the same. The ball players remain exactly the same. The wing backs are both now on defend, on close down, tackle harder, and mark tighter. So again, not going to be attacking at all now, the wing backs. Both of the DMs are both going to be replicators. Pass it short, close down, and also tackle harder. More defensive stability. The winger on the left and also on the right are both now on support. On pass it short, cut inside, roam, close down, and tackle harder. You can probably tell the sort of theme we're going down. The AM in the middle, roam, move into the channels, close down, and tackle harder. And the press and forward, he remains simply unchanged on that default role. So we are going down a much more shorter passing sort of approach, and one where we're going to play that aggressive football because that is the tactic sort of DNA. But when we've got the ball, we are going to be a lot more resilient on it. Starting off with, in possession, down to balance to clarify. We are going to go down to fairly narrow. We're going to pass into the space. We're going to play out from the back. We are not going to be shooting on sight in this variant. We're going to dribble less. We are, however, going to have that maxed out tempo because we still want that high press and style. The passing is going to go all the way down to much shorter. We are not going to have overlapping runs because our wing-backs, of course, aren't going to be attacking. And if you are using this to seal out a game, instead of playing a whole season with it, I would play for set pieces, if you've got mine, and also introduce time wasting. If you are playing an entire season, you do not need those things on. In transition, we are going to counter press and then hold the shape. We're going to slow the pace down. Again, being a lot more sensible on the ball now, playing to anyone across the back line while taking short goal kicks. And lastly, the cherry on top, the standard line with the high pressing line of engagement, get stuck in, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and lastly, we're going to max out that beautiful trigger press. And that's going to give you boys and girls back home not one version of maxed out 4-2-3-1, not two, but three. If you have enjoyed today's video, a like would mean the absolute world. Again, if you do want to go and show any more love, you can go and check out the Patreon and be part of a massive community where you get over 13 perks, now actually 14 perks exclusively to you, where you also get big monthly giveaways. And if you want FM25, we are giving away 10 copies. So do come on over. The link is going to be in the description and also somewhere in this video. But other than that, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.